everybody. So I'm Ann Pointer. I'm the theater director here at Summit High School, and these are members of our cast of She Kills Monsters. And we just wanted to share a little bit with you about why we chose the show and why we think the show is so special and why we know that everybody who comes to see it will find themselves in the story somewhere and realize why it's important. So I chose the show late last spring. I was looking for something that would address some social issues and some problems that are going on in our society. We really feel like in our drama program that we like to tell stories that matter in our world and that will help make a difference in our world. So She Kills Monsters may not be a show that a lot of people know, but it is one of the most popular high school and college shows out there. It was written and premiered in New York in 2011, and the playwright Qui Nguyen since has adapted it to high schools. And since 2013, there have been almost 1,000 productions of the show in high schools and colleges because it deals with concepts that young people go through all the time. And we just think it has a really important message. I was going to ask some of the cast members to talk about some of the messages that really resonate with them.
Well, I think it's a beautiful story about acceptance and grief. There's a plot line of two lesbian girls who are in high school, and both of them are very ostracized. I have a family friend who's going through a really similar thing, and I honestly am dedicating my performance to them because I think it is such a beautiful story of acceptance and learning how to accept people.
Accept other people.
Like,
right.
It's really that simple of just like, I love you and I accept you.
So Hefswell plays one of the lead characters, Agnes, whose younger sister Tilly, played by Sarah, is killed. We find this out in the prologue of the show. And Tilly was considered a geek in high school, and a lot of us may have been considered geeks at some point. I was ostracized at a certain point. You know, when I was in school, Agnes was the popular cheerleader, but when her sister is killed, you want to share with what happens? Yeah.
I basically find this Dungeons and Dragons notebook in Tilly's room, and I go to Chuck, who is this known Dungeons and Dragons player, and I ask him to help me kind of guide me through the book and how to play. And as I go into the book, I'm starting to learn more about Tilly and just kind of reflecting on the relationship that I had with her and the relationship I can have with her.
And why did you play Dungeons and Dragons? Your character.
Oh, my character played Dungeons and Dragons because she felt like it was the only place that she could be who she actually was, and she could actually experience her emotions and go on adventures and, you know, fight monsters. And in the real world, she was picked on and she was bullied for just being who she was. So it was a great outlet for her to feel accepted and feel like she belonged somewhere.
Because in the magical world of Dungeons and Dragons, these are two Dungeons and Dragons players over here in real life, Evan and Matt, who are characters in the show. You can be whoever you want to, and you can create your character. So Tilly wanted her sister to see her as
Strong, powerful, and magical.
And who doesn't want to feel like that? Some of our Dungeons and Dragons guys to talk a little bit about why you love the game and how you relate to the story.
Well, I mean, I think it tackles, as they said, it tackles bullying. I mean, we're theater kids who play Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, we have been picked on.
Yeah.
But I think what's really good about the show is it doesn't just treat it as Dungeons and Dragons is for losers who need to escape. It's fun. It's something that can be fun, and it can have emotional impact if you want it to. But it's still just it's something that's fun that people bond over.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, especially on the point of bonding over, it's such one of my favorite things about Dungeons and Dragons is it's just built-in group of friends. You have some people to hang out with every week, and it's so much fun. Actually, something one of my favorite parts of the show is that, or things about the show, I guess, is that Qui Nguyen, the playwright, wrote this play in honor of one of his really close friends from high school named Chuck, who when he didn't have a group of people to be around and hang out with when he was feeling ostracized, invited him into his D&D game, and that's where he found his sort of tribe. And I think that's very representative of some of the one of the best parts of D&D.
And I play one of the villains in the show, and as someone who has been in a position where I've had to find a new group of friends and kind of adjust, I kind of think it's a really important message to spread about bullying and acceptance and finding your group of people, even if it's kind of not what's expected of you, to find where you feel like you fit in and belong. And I feel like it's a really important message that is in the show.
Another cool thing about Caitlin is she is our dance captain for real, but she also gets to do a lot of really cool fights. So we brought in professional stage combat artists, and there are, I think, 7 big fights with weapons in the show. So that's one thing that people are really gonna like. And they do fight real and metaphorical monsters. So Tilly is fighting her metaphorical monster of the mean cheerleaders who bullied her in real life. And some of the other characters are fighting monsters of being bullied because they were gay or because they were crippled in real life. But in the Dungeons and Dragons world, they are fierce warrior women, and they don't need to be protected by men or by anybody else. So there's that feminism, yay, female power. That's awesome. And also, I think everybody has a monster in their life they need to fight, whether, as I told her, my monster is procrastination. I'm always putting things off, like my director's notes, till the last minute, but I did finish this morning. But, we all have something that we need to fight against. And I think this story tells us that we can do that we can be strong, powerful, and magical, not only in D&D, but also in our real life, and fight our real monsters. It really speaks to everybody, I think. Our show, November 17th, 18th, and 19th at 7:30 at Summit High School. You won't leave not being moved. It's funny, it's got great fights, but it's also very poignant, especially when the sisters, in the magical world come together and realize they really did like each other, even though they didn't know each other before, Tilly died. They got to realize there was something special, and we can't judge people just on the surface, but we need to get to know each other and embrace each other's differences.
Come to see She Kills Monsters November 17th, 18th, and 19th at 7:30 in the Summit High School Auditorium.